It's estimated that there are over 600 antique stores in Illinois. And if you ask my wife, she'll probably tell you that I've been to all of them. Maybe twice. But I recently came across one that was new to me in a small town in central Illinois. The town is called Tuscola, population under 5,000. In a once thriving outlet mall devastated by the COVID outbreak, not much remains. However, right in the center of the mall, you will find one very large antique store. If you didn't know it was here, you would never know it was here. One thing you don't have to worry about though is parking. Besides antiques, the store does have some home decor and some other household items. But what I came here for was to find vintage toys, and this store did not disappoint. This bingo set is one that my family had, and I remember playing with this dispenser. You rotate it and random bingo numbers will drop out. Unfortunately, the dispenser is missing in this one, otherwise I'd have probably bought it. This is called Super Jock, or Super Toe Football. It comes with this little man that, well, let's just let the commercial explain it.
Super Toe, still the only field goal kicker I ever liked. Yep, he did it again. Okay, the kick is from the 50. Let the old pro try. Wouldn't you know, he missed, but with the right wrap on the head, Super Toe scores again. Super Toe comes with everything you see here. Super Toe, another fun-filled Super Jock action game from Shopper. Hey!
This is an American teach and fun toy. I'm guessing there were pegs in these holes that you would hit with the hammer, then flip it over and pound the pegs down again. There were many similar versions of these pounding type toys, like the cobbler's bench or pound a peg. Back in the day, toys were made out of metal, wood, and imagination. Simple materials, ingenuity, and craftsmanship, for the most part. Here's a toddler's desk. I can't quite figure out what these colored pegs are for. Does this hammer even go with the desk? I just don't know. If you do, please tell me in the comments. Here are some roller skates with a nice wooden storage box. Here's a very old Coke truck, but not the kind of Coke you drink. This Coke is the product of a process called coking, where coal is heated, leaving behind a hard, porous, and high carbon residue. This residue, which is almost pure carbon, is what's referred to as Coke. This is Charlie Weaver the bartender. This would probably be more of a novelty for adults rather than a toy for kids, but I'm sure kids had their fun with it too. Here's what it looked like in action. Just think about all the mechanical engineering work and design that went into making something like this. After he would take a drink, his face would turn red. Charlie Weaver was actually a television character portrayed by an actor and old-time radio star, Cliff Arquette.
Yeah, I get up every day at 4 o'clock, milk the cows, and at the end of the week, I find I'm barely pulling down a living.
Flashlights when I was a kid were horrible. The batteries were big and they didn't last long. The bulbs burned out, and if you dropped it, the flashlight bulb broke. Trying to find a flashlight that worked was always a challenge. By the way, this is a consignment store. Most, if not all of the items are owned by individuals who share the profits of their sales. Here's a bunch of new old stock tractors. These are clearly an adult's collection. If we played with these as a kid, they would probably look more like this. If you had 3 brothers or sisters, you probably got the hand-me-down toys because they lasted from the first kid until the last. This is an unopened 130-piece tractor model that has some age to it. Kids used to bring a lunchbox and a thermos to school. These creative, colorful, and iconic brands were largely replaced by this. These are Pepsi promotional drinking glasses from 1973. The original set contained 18 different glasses. I remember this bozo gumball machine. What kid didn't have a nice cap gun and holster? Nothing like the plastic junk that you buy today. Here's an interesting twist on the Jack-in-the-Box toy. Fido in the doghouse. Looks like this pup might need a little help getting out. Here's a whole bunch of little vintage toys that just might stir up some memories. Take a look. Did you play with any of these growing up? Maybe you had one. Maybe your cousin did. Or maybe you always wanted one. What were your favorite childhood toys? I'd love to hear about them in the comments. And if you're into this kind of thing, be sure to check out my vintage toy playlist. I had a bunch of these. They probably cost 5 or 10 cents at the dime store. Remember, they didn't have online stores to shop. We had to walk, ride our bike, or get our parents to drive to a physical store. But where I grew up on the north side of Chicago, there were neighborhood convenience mom and pop stores. Candy stores were common. As soon as I learned to ride a bike, I was off. And it was safe to ride our bikes as far as our legs could take us. As I was about to leave, these little wooden men caught my attention. On the man's chest, it says, Bill Ding. I have never seen these before, and after searching online, I found out that these are stackable building blocks, or in this case, stackable building men. When I got home, I printed out this picture and cut out a couple of my own buildings. Now I'm going to go look in the garage for some scrap wood, fire up the scroll saw, and make some buildings for myself, but that's going to be in a future video. So I appreciate you coming along on this road trip with me to Tuscola, Illinois. You know, as I reflect on the early days of my childhood, the toys we played with, the adventures we had, the relationships we built, they all contributed to shaping us into the adults we are today. Engaging in face-to-face interactions, playing outside with neighborhood kids, and sharing meals with families, they all fostered a strong sense of community and enhanced our social skills. In an era before digital distractions, families were more physically present. Even the whole communities, they were tightly knit. They helped to provide extra support in an environment that contributed to our overall well-being. Now, these experiences helped to lay the groundwork for healthier adult relationships and a deeper understanding of social connectedness. So, I appreciate you connecting with me, even though it is digitally. I'm Tom, this is Allie Picked, and thanks for watching.